Spoiler warning, there's going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen the first season of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, just stay away. Just don't get here, okay? You're going to be spoiled.
Greetings, everyone. I am Wexter, and this is another episode of the HumCast. Today, we are talking about Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, Season 2, Episode 1, because
we've already done it twice, and we're just going to do it more.
We're going to do it more. We're going to milk this Fate franchise more than Uva told bull. So with me today, we have Heavenly.
Hello.
We have Luca, formerly known as Satoshi Senshi.
Thank you for the butchering of my previous name.
You're welcome. And today we have Brent, also known as the 42 Gamer.
We were going to drop the last part.
No,
yeah, we were going to drop the last part for me too.
The 42 Gamer.
He's the artist formerly known as the 42 Gamer.
Yes. Okay. That works. Okay, so Fate Stay Night.
Unlimited Blade Works. Season 2.
Yeah.
Episode 1. Alright, so, overall, like, how does everybody feel, like, of the first episode? Because first, let's say this, it's not an hour-long episode.
It's only 24 minutes.
Yes.
Which I was disappointed about, but I don't know. I kind of felt like the pacing was a little bit too quick, but that's just because of my foresight with the visual novel. It could have been fine for the rest of you. That's just something I thought. It just seemed to be going a tad quick.
I didn't have any huge issue with the pacing. It did start right off where the last season ended and just continued right away. There was no gap in between what happened or no waiting. They continued it right off and kept it on track, which in my opinion is a good thing because they don't lose focus.
I can kind of get where you're going with from that. It's just... Okay, this spoilers to episode 1 if you haven't seen it of the second season, but I was personally I was expecting, since I've read the visual novel, I was expecting at the very end of the episode would be when Archer betrays them, but it kind of happened halfway through, which kind of felt somewhat jarring to me because I thought it would have been a great way to end a season opener, but they're just like, nah.
Well, the scene felt a bit forced, to be honest. Like, when I was watching it, I'm like, what is he doing? First off, no, I did not call that. I call many things, but I did not call that. But at the same time, it felt weird because I'm like, that doesn't seem really in his pre-established character. It just felt kind of forced. It was just like, we need some kind of twist here, so here's a twist.
Well, it's not that it felt forced to me. It's just that the execution was incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
That's just personally how I feel. Visual novels are going to be almost always better in most aspects, but that's just one aspect that it was better than the anime for me personally. It was still a very good first episode in my opinion. It's very faithful, even now, to the visual novel, which is what I highly respect in comparison to like the Unlimited Blade Works movie or the Fate anime.
Like, I mean, in my opinion, I don't think the first episode was as strong as it could have been. It was a fine episode, a fine first episode, but for a season premiere, it kind of just felt like a middling episode, kind of like the episode you get like in the middle of a season, like that one where you're like, okay, yeah, we're in the middle of the season, we're getting. It felt like the ramping up.
It feels as if it's treating as if there was like no like half a year span in between season 1 and season 2. It's like it was just a straight airing. It feels like that.
Yeah.
When in actuality, it was 6 months apart.
Like, to be honest, I don't mind that because if you're somebody who's never seen Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Season 1, and you're just kind of generally watching the show, like Season 1 right now, and you're just started Season 2,
then it transitions beautifully, yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfectly fine transition. But I mean, for people who waited 6 months, I think it was a slightly disappointing start. It was a perfectly serviceable episode, but I mean, I hate doing this because it's completely unfair to compare Unlimited Blade Works to Fate Zero. Because Fate Zero did come technically second in release, so it had the advantage. But
Season 2 started with a bang.
their season 2 started like with this huge bang. Like it was huge. Like you had the fight with Castor, and you had the revelations. You had like I think Alexander the Great writer used his noble phantasm. It was a pretty big episode. Like this huge boom.
And then there's a fight against Cancer as well. I called her Cancer. Holy shit, Castor. Castor is Cancer.
And you
Castor
got the awesome Saber
but
service.
This one's not really fight. The Saber service.
That was so random. Like, I mean,
it's off-putting.
It was like, why was that there? Like, was it really needed?
Even in the visual
Luke, you've
novel,
read the visual novel, so you probably understand why that scene was there. But,
there's as much reason for it to be in the visual novel as there is in the anime. I could not tell you anything more.
It literally feels like it was just there because Fate Stay Night was originally an H game.
It's basically there to be like, isn't Castor a sadist? Isn't she like a horrible person? Look at poor Saber.
It felt really dumb.
What I didn't understand with it is I didn't have an issue with her wearing the dress or anything, which you totally can't appreciate because she's bent over the entire time. Like, if she kind of was hanged from the ceiling, it'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it. But no, instead they put her in this very specific and clearly suggestive situation. I was waiting for Castor's master to walk up behind her.
Like, I mean, when we were watching the episode, pardon my language, but, I mean, it kind of seemed like she positioned her like a bitch in Heat. Like,
in a way, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's no other real way to word that. That was kind of the position she was in. And, I mean, on one level, I can understand, like, so Castor put her into, like, this embarrassing situation. Ha ha ha.
Look at how the prideful Saber has been disgraced.
Yeah, but, I mean, if I was a female viewer, that would actually kind of make me kind of uncomfortable.
When people say Fate is sexist, these are the things they source when they say it.
Yeah, like, I don't think Fate as a franchise is really sexist at all. I think it's a perfectly fine series. Like, I don't think it's overly offensive. But, I mean, that scene right there, if I was somebody who could get offended by that kind of thing...
If you're looking at it out of context, you're going to get a very bad idea.
Yeah, like, even in context, it makes no sense why it's there.
Yeah.
It's just like, it literally feels like it's there because Fate Stay Night... Like, I mean, it has a decent enough story, but I mean, it was an H game, so it feels like it was there because it was an H game. They needed some kind of fan service
in a show that has virtually no fan service.
I mean, you always get Tosaka service.
Well, that's Tosaka. She's the main heroine. She gets service, and she doesn't get it anywhere near as much as like most other animes.
Fair enough. One thing I didn't understand about it though is Saber seemed to have little reaction when Emiya arrived. Like, from what I remember, she didn't even say anything.
Yeah, like, that also, like, felt weird. Like, it felt like that would have been a perfect moment for, like, Castor to pick up Saber by the face and kind of go, look at you, you're an embarrassed little girl, and your master's watching you in this embarrassing position. Like, you know, you could have had, like, that sadistic kind of moment where you could really get Shiro angry and you could have Saber in this uncomfortable situation, and that would actually work in context with the scene. But it's just Saber didn't really have a reaction.
Saber was
she
just there. She was just there.
Yeah, she was literally just there, and normally you see it in the
She didn't even react when Archer betrayed them.
Yeah, like in the beginning she was resistant, and Saber's always been vocal about what she wants Emiya to do, so it was unusual to see her literally submitting to the situation and just not doing anything.
Yeah. It doesn't fit her character at all, and I think that's one of the biggest things where it's like, I mean, I don't want to get into the Fate Stay Night is sexist discussion, because I think we can all agree it's kind of not. It's right. Anime. That stuff is always just going to be there because of the target audience in Japan. But I mean, it's a case of it didn't fit her character. It didn't fit any of her pre-establishment. I think that's just kind of how this episode felt to me as a whole. It's just some of the characters did not behave in the way that they've been pre-established to behave. Like, as I said, it feels like it's a decent middle episode, but not a good
season
starting
opener.
Episode.
And that's basically just what it boils down to.
It was kind of a mediocre episode.
I mean, there's not too much to talk about in this episode because not too much happened.
Yeah,
is the problem.
I mean,
like, we expected it to be this huge, big. Oh man, we're gonna like talk about this phrases, theory crafting, and whatnot. And something big, the big did happen. I mean, Archer did betray Rin, and that's something definitely worth noting.
And, like, I mean, if the scene itself felt a little forced. Because Archer, I know we have Archer's pre-established character, and we know how he behaves, but I mean, just the way he tends to behave in general, it just felt very out of place. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Archer has a plan, and he did that because it's part of a plan.
We always see Archer.
Well, then he directly stated that he had an ulterior motive while he was doing it. Like, that was a direct statement, so...
Mm-hmm. Like,
there's obviously more than meets the eye to what he's doing. We just don't know all of it yet.
Yeah, it's almost as if he was watching the situation unfold in the battle, and he had to think on his feet to kind of get ridden out of there without dying.
Yeah,
it was just that would make sense if that was his motivation. But I mean, it's just it felt out of place. It's just like
Archer is just the best
tsundere
ever. Is basically what it boils down to.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I like the episode. I still find Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works to be a very good show. But it's just, I think the first episode...
We were expecting a huge season opener in the style of Fate Zero, and what we got was just another episode continuation. Which isn't a bad thing. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not a bad thing. It's just not what we were expecting.
Yeah, like, I mean... Brent, back me up on this when I say that if anybody ever watches the show in its entirety, this entire episode's not really going to be that big of a deal.
Oh yeah, it won't be that big of a deal because like you're basically watching them like kind of like one after the other, and so you probably like won't get the same feeling.
Basically, the thing you're going to care about most if you're watching this just straight is, holy crap, he betrayed her. Next episode, I want to see what happens.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. But while we're watching this airing, we had to wait a week, and so it kind of. I basically moments like this are going to be things that warrant going back and rewatching Unlimited Blade Works all.
If nothing else, it's really the huge gap that made this kind of an anticlimactic episode.
This is what we're talking about. Really isn't really a criticism at all. If you watch it straight, it's just a criticism. The criticism for those watching it currently airing.
Yeah,
the problem is going to vanish when it's over.
Like, I mean, it's kind of like the criticism people have of Attack on Titan when people say, oh, it's a slow show. It's not a slow show. It's a very fast-paced show when you're watching it one after the other. But with a week in between, and it constantly ends on cliffhangers, you're just like, oh, the pacing is so broken.
Yeah. It's just a small gripe that will resolve itself at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, like... I mean, we've waited, it's like, we've waited like, it's 3, 5, like, how many months now?
It ended in fall. It's now spring.
Ended in fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this kind of feels like this episode would have been better positioned if it was like, they kind of took a month break from Fate. Like, they're like, oh, we'll come back in a month. Kind of like how...
Yeah. The thing is, the two ways you could have resolved it is, one, started Fate like now, like season 1 now, and just have it go straight, like a straight running. That's basically the only way to do it without messing it up, because you cannot do it after a month, because then it would just not look ufotable quality. They would not have enough time.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I'm gonna say this, like, Western TV shows do this a lot, where they kind of take like a month and a half break between like the mid-season, so that way they can give the actors a break, give like production a break, and they come back and do more episodes. But I mean, like, I wouldn't mind if this was like a month break between the ending of season 1 and the start of season 2. I've been like, okay, you know what, whatever. But I mean, 3 months, an entire season, you're just like, this kind of disappointed. Especially when you end season 1 in the way they ended season 1.
Yeah, they ended it on a pretty solid note and then just picked it right back up without anything, which is, again, why we're feeling this way.
Mm-hmm. Really, it doesn't really amount to anything in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think we're already basically repeating ourselves quite a bit. I'm not sure there's much else to talk about. This is going to be a pretty short episode.
Yeah, I think what we should do is start talking theory crafting.
Hold on. Before we go to theory crafting, we gotta solve something. Can we consider Tosaka and Shiro going straight now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like a pretty solid confession to me. What do you guys think?
Oh,
I think they have a Grail War to finish.
I thought it was going shoujo though.
No,
he's talking about like the romantic pairing of Shiro and Rin.
They're
Totally
obviously there's going to be a love triangle between a caster of Rin and Shiro. Yeah.
No, definitely I can see like the relationship buzzing.
Yeah.
Like it was already happening near the end of season 1, and I mean you could definitely say it's definitely become like a legit thing now. Like, it's pretty.
The
legit.
question is, will Rin be able to overcome her tsundere tendencies?
Dun dun dun.
Find out.
That's always
in the
the
next
golden
episode
question.
of Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
Let's preference the next part of this episode with possible spoilers.
Possible spoilers. Yes.
Like we're putting big spoiler text right now going, if you have not read the visual novel or experienced anything in the previous Fate animes or anything like that, and you have no idea what's going to happen next, and you don't want to possibly be spoiled, stop the episode right now.
Because Wex is about to get his IQ
and if you don't want to get spoiled, I have been Luca, and this has been the others. Get out before we spoil you.
Now go, Wex.
See you next time.
Go with your theory crafting.
All right, so we have what I like to call the Wexter Called It list. And I'm not joking. I actually did compile a list of theories that I think may happen in this season. Now, I mean, some of these are totally out there, like totally out there predictions that probably won't happen. And some of these are well educated based on what happened in season 1 and what's happened in this episode. So, let's get the obvious one out of the way. Archer is Shiro.
Okay.
What makes you say
what are we supposed to say?
Yeah,
are you just reading the
waiting.
entire list, or do you expect us to talk about it?
Like, let's talk about that for starters. Like, everybody kind of more or less agrees they've really foreshadowed.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've obviously
happen.
shown Shiro using his weapons. They even made a reference in the first season that Shiro's fighting style is more suitable to match that of Archer's than Saber's. They have
at one point when in season 1 when Archer basically had to rescue Shiro from Caster's area, she basically said that they were one and the same.
Right. And there was also the thing with Shiro's arm. Archer had gone through the same thing, he said. And
so your basis has a lot going towards it. The question is that if Shiro is Archer, then what happened in between that whole huge time frame for him to get such a radical personality change, an ideal change?
So that's let's be honest. If you've been watching anything related to like anime for a long period of time, that's probably a theory that you've all probably come up with on your own. Like, I don't think this is going to revolutionize how you look at Fate Stay Night. It's just it's a good educated guess based on history of anime. But here's another one. Thematically, this one could probably not happen, especially depending on Archer's motivations of everything, but Shiro will fight Archer and possibly defeat him and or kill him.
Well, that's also very foreshadowing, very similar to your last theory, that things like that, like they don't really agree with each other at all, have been around for a very long time. So I think that's also a very educated guess.
And I want to say that the OP kind of suggests that as well.
Yeah. The OP also is very suggestive of it. The OP actually has a decent amount of spoilers, but I'm not going to list them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Psycho Pass openings, where if you know what happens in the series and you watch that opening, you could go, oh, that's a spoiler, that's a spoiler, that's a spoiler.
That's actually part of the reason I don't watch them, is because of how spoiler-filled a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that could be a considered well-educated guess. Like, I mean, I think it's going to happen. Like, they've definitely foreshadowed like this field of swords and gears throughout like the openings, and I think that might be their battlefield, if you will. Like, kind of just a guess that's Archer's noble phantasm, like his true noble phantasm. Kind of like the way Riders in Fate Zero worked, where he kind of warps you to an alternate plane.
You mean you're saying his noble phantasm is a reality marble? That's what that's called.
Yeah, it's like a reality marble.
It is a reality
and
marble.
It's probably going to be called Unlimited Blade Works, and it's probably a field of swords that he could just transform into his hands and kick the shit out of people with. Like, I think that's what that is. I think that's what the Unlimited Blade Works is.
Yeah. it's really hard because you're theory crafting, and Heavenly and I don't know about Brent, but Heavenly and I, we know the answers.
Yeah, we know the answers.
We can confirm or deny, but we don't want to confirm or deny because we don't want to spoil it.
It's hard.
We can't really talk about this. You should just read out like a list.
Yeah, read.
Okay. I'm gonna finish reading out the list then. Okay. This isn't so much like something that I think is going to happen, but this is something I really want to happen because of sadistic reasons in my psyche. A lot of people are going to hate me for this. I want Ilya to die a very painful way.
Well, that's because you fucking hate Ilya.
Yeah, and I don't know what's wrong with your brain to indicate that, but continue.
I mean, my brain is like that because I blame Dimmy, forced me to watch 2 seasons of Fate Ilya back to back. So,
thank you, Dimmy. Yes. Shout out to Dimmy.
Thank you, Dimmy, so much. I blame you for me wanting that to happen. I don't think that's a prediction. Like, I don't think it may actually happen. I think it's kind of like an out there guess because I just don't think it's going to happen. But it's something I want to happen. Next thing is we are going to get what was it? Like, Kyrie is going to come back and reveal, like, his master plan, like, what he's been building this entire thing up to. Now, I mean, to put it in context, I've not seen all of the original Fate anime, so this could be a prediction that could happen there, or in Unlimited Blade Works.
Or Heaven's Field.
Or Heaven's Field, but Kyrie's plan will be revealed in some way, what he's been working towards. That's just a good educated guess.
If Kyrie has a plan, my question is for you, what do you think Gilgamesh's role in Unlimited Blade Works would be?
I think this is another one of those probably going to happen. Gilgamesh is going to kill a notable master or servant or both.
Okay.
Like I think he's going to kill somebody just because of it's Gilgamesh. He's got to do something badass this season. They've been hinting at him this entire season.
Well, Unlimited Blade Works is basically Gilgamesh's season. So
yeah. So I think Gilgamesh is definitely going to get a moment to shine, and I think he may kill Lancer. I think he may either kill Berserker. He's going to not... I don't think he's going to be the one who kills Caster or Archer. I think he's definitely going to kill one of the more minor servants in probably a very brutal way.
I see.
And I mean, I've got maybe 1 or 2 more theories. One of my theories is Shiro is going to lose a body part. Just because of the arm thing. He keeps doing this. Whenever he uses the swords, he keeps holding his right arm, like right there.
That part is... It's really hard to talk about, the whole arm thing, because I will tell you right now, you're getting somewhere, but you're also not getting anywhere at the same time.
Yeah. Like, I think he's going to lose a body part in some way. It's just, something is going to happen to his arm. So something big is going to happen there. I don't know if blades are just going to shoot out of his arm. Like, that's a repercussion of using his magic, and that's why Kyrie kind of... Not Kyrie.
What is this, Guilty Crown?
Sealed it.
Jesus.
I don't know. Like, I think something nasty is going to happen to that arm. Something brutal.
I'll just let you keep that call. You're gonna probably keep that call for a very long time, but I'll just let you. Yeah. I'll just let you think about that.
And unfortunately, this is another prediction I think may happen or completely be out left field. But Sakura is not going to have even remotely a big part for the rest of the season.
Oh no, she's already gone for the rest of the season.
She's kind of dropped off. She's dropped off the chart near season 1. Ryder is no longer a factor. I think the only real character from the, what are they called? What's the name of the clan?
Matos.
The Matos that's really going to play a role in the last half is going to be Shinji. I think Sakura is definitely...
Well, yeah, Shinji's definitely going to be a factor because he's the master of Gilgamesh now, remember?
Yeah, but I definitely don't think Sakura is going to play even remotely any real role in the final half.
Well,
I think this is definitely going to be a battle between Caster, Archer, Shiro, and Rin. And my final prediction is Shiro's not going to get Saber back. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Like, they're going to probably work together, but he's not going to be her master, and she's not going to be his servant, because I don't think he's going to be able to get his command seals back.
Okay.
And that's overall all my called it's. Does anybody else have any real predictions that are going to happen? Like, Brent, do you have anything in particular?
I actually can't really think of anything right now.
That you haven't already gone over?
Yeah.
I don't have any predictions because I have facts. So Unless Heavenly, because Heavenly already knows everything too. If he wants to go and theorycraft Heaven's Feel, he can go and do that all he wants. But
I've seen some pictures of Sakura, and all I can say is Sakura, best girl. Walk away.
Yeah, yeah. That's honestly okay. The way I had it was at the beginning, Saber was my favorite. Then there was at the point in Heaven's Feel where Sakura was my favorite, and now with Unlimited Blade Works, I also really like Rin a lot. So now I just can't decide, basically, who is best girl.
Going for the harem ending, I see.
Yes. The good ending to Unlimited Blade Works, not the true ending. The harem ending.
Like, yeah. I mean, overall, this could be a really short episode. I think we're barely going to break 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, like, does anybody really have any real feelings you think season 2 is going to turn out? Like, I think it's going to overall be a great season. And I think if you look at Fate as a whole, the whole transition point between season 1 and season 2 is not going to be a big deal.
The question will be, because, like, one thing I had a problem with in season 1, and I still have a problem with it right now, is Shiro's backstory has not been properly addressed, in my own opinion. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping they go and give him like a Kiritsugu episode treatment like they did in Zero. That'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
But as of right now, that's still something I feel very underwhelming about.
Yeah.
Now, since I actually don't know the whole thing with Shiro's backstory, I mean, I know the rough thing, but is it really that big of a deal to go back and animate more than just the gist of it?
It is very relevant in Unlimited Blade Works, most of all. Because it shapes his ideals and who he is, and you can see, like, you can still see, like, in season 1 he had flashbacks to the ending of Fate Zero like multiple times.
Right.
It's something that has a very big impact on him, and I don't think the anime has correctly emphasized that enough so far.
Yeah, I think we will get a Shiro flashback. I don't think it's going to be an episode. I think it may be 10 minutes at the most. Kind of covers a little bit pre-final episode of Fate Zero and probably a little post Fate Zero.
Of Shiro's perspective.
Yeah, from Shiro's perspective, but I don't think Shiro's backstory is really that much of a priority right now to them, because they've got like 11 episodes left, and they've got a lot of plot threads they need to tie up, or at least set up for Heaven's Feel, because so far there's been no confirmation if it's more than one movie, so
I'm scared.
Yeah, they got a lot of ground they have to cover here.
I'm so scared for Heaven's Feel. I'm terrified. It can either go perfectly, or it can go really badly. I do not know which yet.
Luke, what is your, like, number one, or at least, okay, let's put it like this, since we can't really talk about Unlimited Blade Works much more, let's transition to a bit of Heaven's Feel talk, just to help pad out this episode, because we're definitely putting in some filler here. What are your top 5 Heaven's Feel movie concerns?
One is the length. If it's basically under 2 hours, okay, if it's going to be one movie, it has to be at least the length of the disappearance of Harvey Suzumiya. Like, there's no way going about it. There's a lot of information they'll throw at you. There's a lot of things that happen. It's probably the longest route in the entire visual novel, so they're going to need quite a lot of time in order to do it. If it's a one movie, it has to be at least 3 hours, which is already a problem at that point in itself. Because 3 hours is not easy to sit through. I'd optimally have it be multiple movies, but the problem with that is that we'd have problems with pacing like we were just talking about in this episode. So I'm not sure what Ufotable is going to do with it. I just hope they freaking don't mess it up. My second concern is that they're going to adapt it incorrectly and it's going to be too edgy. Because the Heaven's Feel route is...
Okay, let's put this in perspective by edgy. You mean like a Kamega edge?
A Kamega edge.
Or edgy as in like... Kamega edge, okay.
With less humor, because obvious. Because Heaven's Feel is obviously by far the darkest route in all of Fate. It takes the Holy Grail War and spits it on its head, right? It's basically another... It says... Gosh, what's the way to put this? It shows the true nature of the Holy Grail War in and of itself. And there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens in it, concerning like the Mato family and Sakura herself, which you already have undertones from Fate Zero. But I'm afraid they're going to adapt it in a way that it feels far more edgy than it does dark. There's a fine line you have to walk between dark and edgy, because out of the two, Fate Zero is more mature than Heaven's Feel, but Heaven's Feel is darker than Fate Zero.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and as such, if it's just dark, the line between dark and edgy is much less defined. So I'm just really hoping that they do not make it far too edgy. Number 3 would probably have to be. It's going to happen, but there is a alternate end in Heaven's Feel that's basically a completely badass fight between Shiro and somebody. I will not say who because spoilers. And this is already going to be a complaint because it's not canon. It's a normal end. It's not the true end of the thing, so it's not going to happen. But it's basically one of the best fights in the entire visual novel. That's not going to happen. I'm certain of it. It's not going to happen, which is going to be kind of disappointing. And probably fear number 4 will be that they focus too much on the Mato storyline, which would basically mean not enough action and too much info dumps, which would probably turn off a lot of people. And that's all I can really think of right now.
All right. So those are Luke's top 4 fears for Heaven's Feel. I mean, I definitely could see what you're talking about here, because if it is going to be one movie, they have to set it up using Unlimited Blade Works. And if one of my called its is correct, which is the Sakura related one, that is definitely quite a valid concern for you.
Yeah. Because
if she doesn't have any real role for the rest of this anime, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to do Heaven's Feel in one movie.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there are certain aspects of Heaven's Feel that this is the way it works. Unlimited Blade Works relies on Fate Zero or Fate. Heaven's Feel relies on Unlimited Blade Works. Like, some of your call-its that will happen in Unlimited Blade Works are also relevant, but do not happen in Heaven's Feel. But you have to know about them within Unlimited Blade Works for it to actually be a thing. Like, there's certain plot points that you need to know what happened in Unlimited Blade Works in order to understand them. Or else you just will have no idea, like, oh, this happened, but this person was able to do this. I don't understand how that's a thing. And it's very relevant to Unlimited Blade Works. They're kind of interconnected in more ways than you know.
Yeah. Like, I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure. Like, I definitely think they're going the right way of Heaven's Feel when making it a movie instead of an anime, because I'm not sure if another Fate anime series is really necessary at this point. But, I mean, you definitely are right. If it's done in one movie, it's gotta be, like, Disappearance long or multiple films. Like, it's gotta be close to, like, a Break Blade series, like 2 to 3, maybe 4 films.
Well, the thing is that Ufotable was already known to do that treatment with Kara no Kyokai. So, it's not like the premise of multiple films is going to be impossible. In fact, it's probably likely, actually. But they've been giving us all this information, showing us Unlimited Blade Works, and all they did was just announce Heaven's Feel, and that's it. So that's basically where my fears lie. Is we still know nothing about what's going to happen other than it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Like, I definitely could see like a trailer happening at the end of Unlimited Blade Works, like just like a teaser trailer for Heaven's Feel.
That's probably going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, right now for the Heaven's Feel movie, I think it has the possibility to be the best thing in the Fate franchise ever. Better than Zero, better than Unlimited Blade Works, and definitely better than the Unlimited Blade Works movie in Fate Ilia. But it also has the possibility to be the next Unlimited Blade Works movie.
It has both possibilities, definitely. Personally, it's my personal favorite route, but there's a lot of downtime, and that's one of my fears, is too much focus on the Matos. There's a whole lot of information about the Matos and relationships between, like, them and the Tosakas and the Holy Grail War itself and everything. There's so much information in Heaven's Feel, and I'm just afraid that they're going to dedicate like a 60-minute stretch in the movie to info dump you constantly, which suck. That's just going to be it would be a turnoff to so many people. Yeah, it would suck. Because like in visual novels, it's acceptable because you're already immersed enough into the stuff that you can basically accept that there's going to be.
And
a
you
lot
kind
of
of expect it.
But but in an action-filled franchise like Fate, you need to get it. You need to get the bridge between action and information, like, exactly correct. Yeah. In some ways, I feel they're almost going to put hints to Heaven's Feel in Unlimited Blade Works. I can tell you they already put one from season 1. They've already put one hint that's for Heaven's Feel relevant. I'm thinking they may actually do a little bit more just so that they don't have to explain so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I said, like, if one of my calls it, which is the Sakura, is correct, that may be a concern going into Heaven's Feel. But just so we can kind of wrap up generally this episode, let's go with kind of a fun question. All right, Heavenly, Luke, Brent, what will be the next part of the Fate franchise you want to see get an anime or a movie? For me, it's Fate Apocrypha. I love Joan of Arc as a historical figure. I really want to see her in action on the screen. But what are your guys's? What is the next Fate thing you want happen on anime?
Well, like, I'm not really that deep into the Fate universe. Yeah, that one. There we go.
Tsukihime is my answer.
Because I haven't heard good things about the anime at all.
Are you ready? Yeah, Fate, Prism, Purium, Sakura, Yuri. There we go.
If we're going to go with Fate specifically, I'm going to go with Fate Hollow Ataraxia, animated by Madhouse.
Ooh, good one.
Because it's kind of short, and it's kind of just an addition to Fate Stay Night. It's basically half of Fate Hollow Ataraxia is a fan disc.
Right.
It's just slice of life stuff. So it wouldn't make sense for Ufotable to really animate it. My guess, my choices would be Shaft, because they've already dabbled in Fate a little bit with Fate Extra CCC, or Madhouse.
All right, so those are some fun answers. But overall, I think we've kind of talked about the first episode as much as we really can. There wasn't really much to talk about. We've had a little bit of Heaven's Feel discussion and kind of a fun question at the end. So overall, that was our overall impression on the first episode of Fate Stay Night.
Along with extras.
Unlimited Blade Works Season 2, with a little extra bonus content. So, what are your guys' thoughts? What did you think of the first episode? Did you like it? Do you think we're an absolute bunch of nutters for thinking it was kind of an average episode?
Do you hate it? Are you a Fate hater, and do you think we should stab ourselves for even talking about it?
Please let us know in a comment, and if you liked this episode, please give us a like and a subscribe. We are now doing editorials and possibly a new series in the near future, so if you want more of that, give us a subscribe. But overall, this has been our episode of the HumCast, and with me today was Heavenly.
Goodbye.
Luca.
Adios, amigos.
And, of course, the Brent.
See you later.
And I've been Wexter, and this has been HumCast, and we're signing out.
Bye-bye.